Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space created weekly is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. I am officially back from my 10-day travel extravaganza where I did a DEKA weekend out in Connecticut, and then I followed that with a DEKA FIT weekend out in Raleigh, North Carolina. I am like socially tapped out, but also so full in my cup of just like love and joy for this community, for hybrid racing, just all the things. And I also had some pretty awesome things come out of this trip that I want to share with you guys today. Specifically the DEKA FIT weekend. I know that the previous week, I recently shared about my weekend at Underdog Fitness and some of the takeaways that came from there. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to that one, I would also go back to that episode because there were some really good, juicy things that happened in that one. But I want to talk about the FIT weekend because, again, a lot came out of that. And I want to start it off with sharing a Becoming Your Strong moment with someone that I had the pleasure of meeting at the FIT in Raleigh. So this individual was so kind. I remember standing up in the registration line and I was walking away and I heard this voice, Kayla, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I'm in trouble. What did I do? So I go back and this sweet woman grabs my hand and just like is thank you for all that you do. And I didn't know her. I had no idea who she was. I just said, oh, well, thank you. You're so welcome. And walked away. Later that day, I saw her in the starting corral. And as a volunteer, you get the chance to essentially race for free. And so she was courageous enough to step up to the starting line and do an individual race. And we were getting ready to do some doubles races, some of the team races. And so she was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so fast. Like, why am I going out with you? And there was just this whole conversation around her journey and stepping past fear. And she later that day showed me some photos of her, like, I think she was 300 pounds. And it was around this time last year and she's lost like over 100 pounds since then. And just this incredible weight loss journey and what that's done for her mentally. And obviously myself hearing this, I'm truly connected to this because I've been through something very similar. And it just was a very emotional day for her. Like she's overcome so much just in the last year alone by choosing to show up for her, by choosing to say yes for herself and getting herself in better health. And then today she got to celebrate that by doing something that was really freaking hard. And she completed the DEKA FIT. It didn't matter how slow or how fast she went. She just wanted to cross the finish line. And I was very happy to watch her do that. And so I just wanted to shout her out and say thank you for the kind words this weekend. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being an incredible example of what is possible, that it is never, ever, ever too late to do something big like that in your life, to turn your life around. So for those of you that are listening and that feel like whether it be a weight loss transformation or just some big decision you're waiting to make in your life, you can make it and know that it's never too late to truly make an impact on it. So big shout out to her. And then let's jump into the weekend, guys. It was so much fun. And what was the best part about this weekend is like, I truly walked into it with no pressure. Like all of the pressure was on the weekend before because I had qualifying times that I wanted to put up. This was just for me to be present and enjoy the people that I was with. By no means was I in a DEKA FIT training block the last couple of weeks. I was definitely more focused on the strong than anything else, which is the opposite of what I did this weekend. And so I just came into this like just super grateful to be there, just to immerse myself in the community, to fill my cup, like getting to meet people and hearing their stories. Like that was my main thing. And the other goal that I had as well too was to support my athletes. I had 2 athletes that I directly coached that would be racing. I would actually get the chance to race with both of them. And one of them was specifically trying to go elite in the DEKA FIT for World Championships. So we were trying to get her a qualifying time so that she could race the elite wave in Texas later this year. So that was just like overall setting the stage for this weekend. And I want to go over just 3 big aha moments that led to really awesome, cool secrets that I think will help any one of us, no matter where you're at in your journey or in the season. And the first thing is, again, just the fact that I had no pressure on this weekend whatsoever. The fact that I didn't come into this weekend feeling like this weight on my shoulders, it allowed for me to be in the right headspace. I think that it is so common and so often that we get distracted by performance goals and wanting certain outcomes that we truly forget why we love to line up and why we love to race. Going into my races this weekend with this headspace was instrumental, just not only in being able to find my joy and just be present in the moment that I was in, but also it just allowed for me to perform really well in ways I did not expect. The pressure was removed and I just got to be there. I just got to focus on being the absolute best athlete that I can be. And so I think that really goes to show that when we're not tied up in the outcome, when we're not wrapped up in the expectation and the pressure of it all, just how well we can actually do. And again, not only did I do really well, but I enjoyed racing. And that's the whole point of this. Why do hard things if you don't even enjoy it, right? The second thing is, I I had a moment, y'all, where I got done with my first team's race with my athlete, Megan, and it was such a special race. She is pregnant, and she's going to be having her very first baby girl. She has 3 boys, so she's going to be a mom of 4 come January. And it was just such an incredible way for her to sign off for the season by getting to race with her coach. And I was so honored that I got to share that race floor with her. Just the kindest soul you could ever think of ever meeting. She worked so hard while she was out there too. And she showed up the best that she possibly could. Like, shout out to her for not getting swept up in the emotion and the pressure of feeling like she has to perform in a certain way. Like, she walked into that race being, kind of scared of like, well, what if I let you down, or what if I'm too slow, and was able to put that stuff to the side and just enjoy doing this for herself. So we had an incredible time out there on the course. And right after that, I'm literally like in the finishing like corral area, and I'm walking over and I hear that over the speakerphone that, oh, in 2 minutes, the starting line will close. And I still have to do my race with Amy. And so I find Amy in the crowd, and she looks at me. She goes, all right, it's time to go. I am not warm, but there's no choice. Guys, I'm not kidding. I just got done racing. And so I took a gel. I slammed as much of it as I could that I felt comfortable with so that I wouldn't get like a side cramp or want to throw up when we started the race. And we get up to the starting line, and there's Yancey. And there's these 2 other teams, these 2 female teams. They look like super fun and fast and jacked. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. We get to end this off with a females like wave. And he goes, oh, you guys are in for it. Like, the world champions here, la, 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 la. And starts like pumping me up. And I'm like, no. Because on the way over there, Amy and I were like, okay, let's just use this first lap or 2 to warm up and not kill each other. And we'll just ease ourselves into the race. Well, Yancey changed that game plan really quickly, because he was like, all right, like, let's make this a race to remember. And I'm just like, oh God, here we go. And so they 3, 2, 1, and we go. And it was such an awesome race. Like, I had an absolute blast just flying around the course with Amy. And what was really cool about it, you guys, was not only the fact that, like, we put up a time that was the second best in the world. Like, we did not expect this at all. Like, we were both, like, she had done the elite race earlier, and she, like, gave it all that she had, so she was already pretty tired and sore. I had literally just got done racing. Like, we were totally on just a, let's just do the race, cross the finish line. There's no expectation to put up an insane time. Like, would it be cool to get a podium today? Absolutely. But like, let's just enjoy this last, race that we get to have together. And it's just, we're feeding off each other's energy. We're feeding off the girls that are in our heats energy, and they're freaking fast. And so, of course, my competitive edge is like, all right, let's do this. And, we got pretty far ahead by the end of it. But, it was so cool to put up a time that we were not expecting. Like, we're second place in the world behind the world record holders by like, the second to third is like a solid like 30 to 40 seconds. And so we put in some serious work out there, and that was just really cool. But the big aha that I took away from this was just how mental this stuff really is. By not giving myself a ton of time to like overthink and to freak out about the fact that like I'm not going to get to refuel, or oh my gosh, this race is going to be really hard. Like, I realized that there was no chance to actually let my head get in the way of what I was getting ready to do. Like, I couldn't get in my own way. So it really does go to show how much of this is mental. And if we can master the art of mindset, there is no cap to what we can do. Truly, there's no cap. Like, I just showed myself that I could do 2 long and fairly hard races back to back and still perform very well. And like, imagine the confidence that gave me to do that at Worlds, to where now I've got some pretty insane options. After the last 2 weekends, like, I was just planning on doing like 3 or 4 races at Worlds. That might be shifting now because I'm showing myself what I can do. And that to me is the true gift. So let's lean into the what if as far as like what's possible versus the, well, what if I don't get this and what if I don't get that? Like, we could drive ourselves nuts and crazy around that stuff. But I want to get lost in the possibility. Like, let's be optimists here, and allow for us to really go after and see what we're capable of. Moving into the last and final thing, there were some really cool moments that I got to share with some of the attendees. One thing that I got to do while I was out in North Carolina was in Hickory. There's this cute little CrossFit gym called CrossFit Stacked where I had the opportunity to run a workshop. And a lot of the people that were at the workshop were at the FIT that this last weekend. And so they were coming up to me as they were getting done, and I heard some stories from people. And the biggest feedback that I got was how game-changing my advice was when it came to pacing the race. And these were teams, guys. These weren't just individuals. These were teams. And so one thing that I shared as like a hot take in my clinic was, a lot of people think about the individual races as like, that's the one that you really have to pace. But when you get to teams, like, kind of pacing goes out the door. It's just like pedal to the metal, full throttle all the way through. And I've had some times now, like specific experiences in the last week that have kind of shown me that might not be correct, where I can start at like a 70% and dial my way up and put up a fantastic time. I did that for 3 races in the last week, and I PR'd or put up the top time in the entire world with that mindset, with that race plan and strategy. So I told that to these 2 girls. I said, hey, instead of going out at a blazing row pace, pull that back a few seconds. I'm just be my little like test dummies here and see what happens. And they came to me and they PR'd by like 2 or 3 minutes, guys. They were like, it was incredible how much energy we had after that point. And so I really do think that that's probably the biggest and the best secret you're going to get out of this entire podcast is, y'all, there can be pacing. There can be true pacing strategy to a team's race. So imagine that. So those are the secrets that I wanted to tell you from this past weekend. And now I want to shift the conversation into prepping for World Championships, because crazy enough, like that time is very quickly upon us. It's going to be here before we know it. We have last chance qualifying weekend on September 12th and 13th. I know there's a lot of you that are probably gearing up for the final qualifying events happening over the next 2 to 3 weekends, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck as you start to put in those final qualifying times and start to see where you stack up on the leaderboard. You'll probably make your plans for World Championships as far as what races you were going to race. And you're probably thinking about, okay, like, how do I maximize here? Like, what do I do next to make sure that this training block that I put in really sets me up for success in December? And so I wanted to talk through just 3 main points here for those of you that are starting to consider those plans. The first thing is taking time to recharge the batteries. That is what I am doing these next 2 to 3 weeks. Like, I'm very lucky that I already have all my qualifying times in, and I don't have to worry about continuing to like train up until that last chance qualifying weekend. Like, I honestly just get to coast and bring the batteries back to life and let my body get back to normal and do a lot of that recovery work that it needs. So I'm very lucky in that. But even for those of you that will be competing in last chance qualifying weekend, like the rest of your September, like 2 to 3 weeks, you guys should be, how can I get back to 100%? Because I guarantee we probably didn't spend the time that we needed to in recovery. So your body's probably needing it. And if I also had to take a wild guess, a lot of us have been competing in multitudes of different seasons. And what I mean by that is, if you were just on DEKA qualifying season, maybe right before that you were on High Rocks World season, or like you were preparing for a High Rocks race or preparing for something. And so our body really hasn't had a chance to downshift. And so I really, really encourage all of you to take a downshift, like a good downshift. And I'm talking about taking the intensity down. In fact, maybe even just removing a little bit of the intensity, like still being able to touch the systems just a little bit. But I'm not doing any threshold sessions the next 2 to 3 weeks, and that's on purpose, right? So there's no high intensity intervals for me. It is going to truly be base work and rebuilding up strength and working on imbalances and just some of those things that I identified while I was out racing these last 2 weekends of like, okay, I need to put some special attention on this so that when it's time to really put in the work, that I'm ready to go and I'm not sitting there fighting injury, fighting fatigue, wondering why I can't hit certain paces or, get into certain heart rate zones. Like, my body is just able to put in the work and I can do so efficiently and effectively. So that is the first thing that I would highly, highly recommend. The second thing is, y'all, you have to have a progressive plan. On the plane ride out to Connecticut, I took some time in my notebook and I started to write out, not just for me, but for the girls that I'll be training, that I already work with, my athletes that I'll be training for World Championships, the athletes that'll join the Underdog Fitness team for the 10-week World Championship build, which I can talk about that at the end. I started to write out those plans and doing it in a way where it was like, okay, let's look at the full picture here and what phases we want to go through, how each phase is going to progress, what's the intent of every single phase. Like, it's not just some randomized thrown together, here's some intense workouts, hope that they work. I'm not big on throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks. I'm very big on doing something that's going to take an athlete from a state of like, okay, I can move the needle, and progressing them throughout that so that they could actually watch it move throughout these next 8, 10, 12, however many weeks you're going to be spending preparing for World Championships. So if you don't have a progressive plan, I recommend like looking at, okay, this is when I want to start my build. Here's the different blocks and the different phases I'm going to do. Here's the intent of each of those. Here's how I want my weekly schedule to look. From how many days of base work or how many hours of base work do I want to get in? Am I focusing on strength? Am I focusing on muscular endurance? How many intensity days? And making sure that I'm not going to actually overtrain my system, right? Getting a breakdown of the hours and where they're spent and what's the intent of those hours. Like, it's important to do those things. And if you're not in a space to do that, it's an incredible time to delegate, right? And maybe go find a coach that can help you do those things. The last thing that I would say in regards to your World Championship build is to get ingrained with community. Like, I call this get in the middle of the freaking bed. You guys, building the World Championships can be so much fun if you do it the right way. It doesn't have to be full of pressure and intensity and just like, wow, like you could go and find a community and get in the middle of that and have so much fun, like make memories with people, build relationships with people, do hard things with people that, these friendships that you're going to build, like they truly last. And they're such good friendships that come out of this. go get in a community, because this isn't just about a joy thing. This is also about a success thing. And I truly believe for the people that are ingrained in community, the more successful they are. Like, as an example, the underdog community that I'm a part of, the people that join, they're seeing success. And it's not just because the programming, it's because the coaches, the people, the way we lift each other up, like how we rally around each other at events and during normal training days during the week, like it makes a very large difference. And so go find your people that you can do that with and have a ton of fun with. Like, I remember last year, like my Colorado gang, just getting together with them. If it wasn't every weekend, it was every other weekend. And we just did like these training sessions together, and just the camaraderie and the fun and the pushing each other. Like it really made that time so much fun for me and so much fun for them. So all of that to say, like, don't try and do it alone. I know I've said that about 1,600 times on this podcast, maybe even 1,700 times. But I say it because there's a reason for it, right? If you really want to accomplish something, you could only go so far by yourself. You could go really far with other people. You might be able to feel like you're going faster by yourself, but fast doesn't mean far. It really doesn't. So get yourself a coach, get yourself a community, and watch where you go because you made that decision to do it. So speaking of which, I know that we'll be officially announcing this probably in the middle of September. The World Championship build for Underdog, we do it every single year. It's a 10-week to World Championships build, starts in October. So if you are interested in being a part of that, please let me know. I'm happy to chat with you about what that looks like specifically, and how it may or may not be the best fit for you. If you're just even looking for, not only I want to be a world championship build athlete, but I also want to work with you long term and be a part of a community, reach out to me, right? Because this isn't something we have to wait until October to accomplish. We can start looking at doing some training right now, right? And getting some of those benchmark testing out of the way to see where your baselines are at and where our areas of opportunity are. That's what I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for showing up for you. Again, reach out if you have any questions, if you're in need of a coach, it's just even in need of direction of who would be the best to work with. I'm happy to guide you to the right places. But I hope that you have a fantastic week, and stay tuned. At some point, that guest interview that I've been talking about, it's gonna happen. It's in the works. So stay tuned for that episode, and I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Becoming Your Strong. See you then.